Become the best.
Hey guys, Evan here, how are you all doing? So today guys, we're going to be talking about the Warlords of Draenor. But before we get into that, let's get into last week's competition winner. And the winner should be on the screen right now. Congratulations, and all you have to do to claim that prize is make sure you send me a YouTube message and include your email and your nationality. Next we're going to have a new prize, and the prize should be on the screen right now. All you have to do for a chance to win that prize is make sure you like the video, leave a comment, as I'm choosing one up in the comments, and make sure you subscribe, so only subscribers can win. Okay, so guys, before we get into today's video, I just want to make sure that you guys saw my last video about the Gamers League. You guys should definitely check out that video. It has some really good stuff in there you guys might like, plus it has some really good arena. Okay, so we're going to get into the comment of the week, and the first comment comes from a long time subscriber of mine, Heavy Sword. He says, "One of the best ideas I've ever saw, you always surprise me." Now that means quite a lot coming from you, Heavy, since I know you've been subscribed for quite a while now, and you've always seen a lot of my videos, and it's just amazing that I can still surprise you with something new every so often, and that I try to keep the ideas for my videos coming to always give you the guys the best content I can. So thank you so very much for this comment. Next comment comes from a friend of mine called Disney Mage. He's also been in one of my videos in a collab, and I'd like to actually do a collab where there's some voice with him, so if he wants to do that, I'm definitely up for it. And he says, "Great video, man. Awesome to see you involved in big stuff like this now. Good job and keep up the good work, broski." It means a lot for you to say this, Disney, just because I know you've been supporting me since we basically met. That means a lot to me, so thank you so much for this comment. Okay, so today's video, Warlords of Draenor. We're going to be talking about a couple of things of Warlords of Draenor, a few things that they've made changes. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the new models, the item squish they put in, the instants and gems on your items changing when you change your spec, the instant boost to level 90, the garrisons that they're putting in, the new Outland Draenor, and obviously the level 100 talents. So first up, we're going to talk about the new models. The first model you're going to see like is the dwarf model. The dwarf model is lean, sexy, he has a nice appeal to him. The mouth actually moves, the beard actually shakes, the character actually moves like as if it was real life, instead of actually being some sort of, I don't know, the character is just too static at the moment, and he has this appeal to him. Obviously next is the orcs. The orcs, obviously people are saying, "Oh, look like Garrosh," but what people keep forgetting is, they're only showing the base model. They're not showing all the models, you know. There's at least 10 different bases on each class. There's probably 15, something like that. Something stupid, silly stupid number like that. You're only seeing one of them. You're not seeing all the other 14. So I wouldn't really judge it too quick. I still like how they look. There's facial features that laughs. The character actually moves, and it's just so gorgeous. It's so fucking gorgeous. And looking at the gnomes, they've shown the female gnomes and the male gnomes, but I quite prefer the female gnomes because my mage is a female gnome and she looks well cute. The next one is the female dwarfs. Obviously the female dwarfs look like some sort of warrior princess, kind of like a dwarf version of Xena or something. Don't ask me. Obviously the Taurens, I'm not a big fan of the Taurens, but the Taurens are still pretty better, but they're better looking than what they were before. I'll give them that. Now the undead, however, the undead are pretty damn sick. I actually like how the undead look. It looks more like you're actually looking at a zombie than an actual undead, you know. And that's what an undead is, the zombie. It's pretty freaking sick. I love it. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is going to be the item squish. Now the item squish, what it's going to do, it's going to bring your item level down by, what is it? You're going to have the same item level, but your armor is going to be like 5% of what it is now, because it's something like 490k health is going to be squashed down to 30k health, which is about 5%, maybe like that. Your intellect's going to be like a ridiculous amount. It's going to be squashed all the way down. So basically, instead of hitting like, I don't know, instead of hitting like what we're hitting at the moment, let's say we're hitting 250 crit chaos bolts, we're probably only going to be hitting about, I don't know, 10k if we're lucky. I don't know, the the way it's looking at the moment, it's looking like crits are going to be about 5-6k, which is actually pretty sick, because I remember doing Wrath of the Lich King and it was really good fun. I think of all the PvP seasons, Wrath of the Lich King was one of my favourites. And as you can know, my armour actually is modded. I have the Wrath of the Lich King armour, so Season 8, you can't go wrong with that. Next thing we're going to talk about is the gems and enchants on your items changing when you actually change spec. Now, this is a really good choice because of the simple fact that an awful lot of the time I'd be just like wanting to go tank in BGs or something just for the fun of it, or I want to be like Fury even. Like, just being able to switch between them, actually having to worry about your gear is so freaking amazing. This means you only have to have one set of PvP gear and one set of PvE gear, which I quite like. But as you guys know, they're actually giving us free gear at level 90, I think it is, for PvP, and they're going to be changing it for the Trial of the Gladiator, which is a little tournament that they're going to run every week during, apparently it's going to be during the best times of the day where everyone's active. And it's like a small tournament you enter, and it's basically your best way of getting arena titles and all that kind of stuff. I'm still not too happy about it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't happy about it. But we're going to see what happens in the future, and hopefully they make some changes to it to make it less about what it is and more about actually enjoying arena itself. The next thing we're going to talk about is the boost to level 90. Level 90 is pretty much gonna be hard to get when the new expansion comes out, so people obviously want to be boosted straight now. I think it's only going to be one character you get, but yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty fun. I think I'm probably going to make a rogue on US straight away because I want a rogue over there, you know, so that'd be pretty cool. Just to go back on the item squish there, I'm actually looking forward to it quite a lot, because the simple fact is the item squish is just, it just makes it more better. Like, the PvP is not going to be more, it's going to be more about actual tactics and less about bursting somebody down in one shot, which is a really freaking good thing, as you guys know, and I'm quite happy about that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the garrisons. As you guys know, you're going to be able to build your own little garrison, your own little house. You're going to be able to sell your own minions out to go collect items and stuff like that, and bring it back to your house and get you ores and supplies and profession things and all that kind of stuff. You're going to be able to customize and build your garrison to how you want it to look like, and it's going to be like a little player home basically. We all knew we wanted that when they brought out the farms in Mr. Mandaria, but that didn't happen. But they did bring it in the garrisons. Now, it would be cool, as one of my friends think it was straight, said that if they actually made it so you could PvP in these garrisons and take over the garrisons like they do in WildStar, that would be pretty freaking sick. I'm pretty sure they're probably thinking about it right now, because people have actually mentioned it, and we'll see what happens in it. But I'm not 100% sure if they're going to go with this, or if they're just going to keep it as just for fun, like invite your friends and have a little fun, sit in your house, that kind of thing. But they brought farms, they brought Pokemon, they brought garrisons. Won't be long before they bring more PvP garrisons. Next thing we're going to talk about is, I didn't actually mention at the start, but we're going to talk about the new PvP zone. It's going to be a new version of basically a War PvP scenario, ongoing War PvP scenario, which is going to be like Tobrad and Wintergrass, which is pretty freaking insane. But instead of actually being a timer where you win the battle, it's going to be an ongoing thing, and the more success you have in it, the more chance you have of getting, I think it's items you're going to get and stuff like that, and a lot of cool things like extra rewards and stuff just for competing in it. And not only that, it's going to promote heavy war PvP, and I have a feeling and a hope that they're not going to put flying mounts in this zone to make it even more epic, which will be freaking amazing. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the new Outland, which is called Draenor. Draenor is a new Outland, and it has some similar zones like Nagrand and Shadowmoon Valley, but it also has new zones, which you guys can see. And basically, the Alliance Town is actually going to be, yeah guys, it's going to be freaking Black Temple, which is going to be freaking amazing if you ask me. I mean, Black Temple has been an iconic place for quite a long time. Like, everyone remembers Illidan, and people hoped for bringing back the possible ability of Illidan, which may actually still happen. There's a rumor going around about the Demon Hunters. People were actually looking forward to that. I would like to play Demon Hunter myself personally, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, I love my warrior and I love my rogue, but just the way it is. But it's all good. I'm looking forward to this new Outland. It's going to be 35 years in the past, I think they said it was, and you're going to get to see all of the old orcs, like, and some of the old Draenors, Draenors pretty much from the past, and it's going to be like Grong Health Scream, etc. Like, just really cool stuff. Like, you're going to get to see pretty much all the sick stuff you wanted to see, like that should have been around back then, but it's here now. And finally, we're going to talk about the level 100 talents. And first up, I'm going to start with the rogue, then I'm going to go into warrior. Now this particular setup you see right in front of my screen, this is actually going to be what I'm probably going to go with at level 100. Now the first talent is going to be Master of Basics. Now this particular talent I'm not too sure about, because everything's going to get scaled down. Remember guys, with the art and squish, everything's going to get scaled down. It's undetermined what our crit chance is going to be. If our crit chance is about 35 to 40%, this may be the talent I go with, but if it's not, then I'm not too sure, because you basically, if you critical strike, you're going to get an extra combo point. Half the time when I ambush during dance, I get 4 combo points. This is going to give you your 5 combo points to do a hell of a lot more damage. Now, it's still not my ideal talent of choice, but it's still a pretty good choice. Shadow Reflection. Now this is the one I'm thinking about going with myself. Summon a shadow of yourself on the target that will watch you and memorize the ability usage of all your abilities for the next 8 seconds. After that time is up, it will then mimic the memorized abilities on the target over the next 8 seconds. Now it hasn't said it's going to do damage, so this is the sussy part, but it did say it will memorize the abilities and use them. This means you could use it for a kidney shot or anything like that, or maybe do an extra rupture, or maybe a blind. You could blind the target twice, that would be pretty sick. Or maybe anything really cool, like a double sap or 16-second sap, that would be pretty sick. But I think it's probably going to DR, but even still, 12-second sap, that would be insane. That would. I mean, you could sap them and then blind them, and maybe it would sap and then blind. That'd be 16 seconds of CC. There's no guarantee how this is going to plan out, but it definitely sounds like a sick talent to me, and I'm definitely choosing this when the expansion comes up. The next one is Death from Above. This reminds me of the warrior one, Glyph of Death from Above, but it doesn't matter anyways. It costs 50 energy and it's a 20-second cooldown. It requires one-handed melee weapon, a finishing move that consumes combo points on a target to empower your weapons with a shadow energy to perform devastating 2-part attack. You whirlwind around, dealing shadow damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Then you leap into the air and slice into your target on your way back down, dealing additional shadow damage. For 1 combo point, it's going to do 4 area damage and 1000 damage to the target. For 5 combo points, it's going to do 2000 area damage for 5000 damage on the target. That's going to be pretty sick if you ask me. 5000 damage. Oh, it sounds nice, but at the same time, it's kind of looks like a blade storm, really, which is pretty sick actually. It's more like a sick fan of knives. Yeah, I can see this being like some sort of ninja move, which is really sick actually. I quite like the look of this one, but it's still not warranted enough to get my attention. Shadow Reflection is definitely the one I'm going to go with, just because of the simple fact it's really good for CC. And finally guys, the part you've been waiting for, we're going to talk about the warrior talents. The first talent is Blade Barrier. It's an instant and it's a passive. Don't know why it says instant, but I'm guessing it's to deal with your abilities. When you whirlwind or thunderclap, whirling barriers continue to spin around you for 30 seconds. So it doesn't mean you have to thunderclap every second just to keep this up, which is pretty damn nice. And it's also a constant thing, so you could probably use this in a single target fight as well, just to do that extra damage. These blades do 100% damage every 1 second to all enemies in 8 yards for 8 seconds. Now, the reason why this is my favourite talent out of the other 3 is specifically because of the simple fact that it's constant, it's always there, it's doing 1000 damage every 1 second for enemies in 8 yards, and it's doing it pretty much all of the time. So this is like extra damage that you're going to get not only on a single target but on AoE targets, which is pretty sick, and I can see this being a really good talent choice for warriors in the future, especially if you apply it with Blade Storm and Bloodbath. And just the damage is going to be insane. This is definitely my favourite choice for the new expansion, and this is the one I'm most likely going to choose. Next talent is Ravager. Ravager is a 40 yard range, 1 second cast, and there's also a 1 minute cooldown. Now this one is a bit tricky while you're going to use this one, but it can be good in certain situations, and it does a hell of a lot more than Blade Barrier, but it only lasts 15 seconds. That's the problem with it. Blade Barrier is a 100% chance to be there all the time. Now Ravager, what Ravager does is throws a Warwing axe at the target location that inflicts 3000 damage to all enemies within 8 yards for every 1 second for 15 seconds. Now the way this works is going to work is basically if you know someone's going to be in a certain place at a certain time, and they're jumping on your healer or something, you could throw that Warwing axe in, jump in, Bloodbath Blade Storm, and rip them apart. But the problem with this is it's on a 1 minute CD, and it's on a 1 second cast. You can be interrupted doing it, and also the fact that it's 1 minute, which means it's going to be less damage overall, because of the fact that Blade Barrier is there all the time. I mean, if you work it out, 3000 damage for 15 seconds, that's 45,000 damage. Blade Barrier is there all the time, which is 1000 damage every 1 second, which works out about as 60,000 damage. So it's really if and but which we prefer. Ravager is more bursty, but people can move out of Ravager, whereas Blade Barrier is going to be on you. That's the main thing about it. This is why I prefer Blade Barrier. The next talent is Extreme Measures, and basically for Arms and Fury it's called Machoism, and it's an instant cast. And what it does is it deals damage to yourself equal to 20% of your maximum health, and you gain 30 rage. Now I don't really see this being too good of a choice, but I have seen possibilities where it could make an advantage in a certain situation. Now the situation where I would think this would be the best would be if you're on, let's say, 100 health, your healer's being trained, you're basically at a point where you could get the kill if you get that extra slam in, or execute where you haven't got enough rage for execute, or anything like that, and you're on 100% health, your healer's almost dead, they're almost dead, you activate Extreme Measures, boom, execute, they're dead. Now that is a good situation to have that, but I still think 20% of your maximum health is a bit excessive. I think they should bring it down to 10%, or if they're going to keep it at 20%, I think they should up the rage gain to 50. That's just my opinion. Now for protection, this is going to add a new thing called Gladiator Stance. Now it's a dauntless combat stance, and it's a 1.5 second cooldown like any other stance. Increases all damage dealt by 20%, also causes Shield Slam to consume Shield Barrier as an additional damage, and an increased chance to critical strike equal to your critical block chance. Also replaces Defensive Stance. Now the question is, will this actually remove the 25% damage reduction you get as a tank, or will it increase your damage by 20% and also give you 25% damage reduction? If it does, this is definitely the talent choice to choose if you're a PvE tank, or even a tank in arenas or anything like that. I don't know if they're trying to bring back tanks in arenas, maybe not, maybe they will, maybe they won't. We'll see how it goes. Maybe, but definitely in RBGs or anything like that, this is definitely a good choice. So guys, my final predictions for the Warlords of Draenor expansion. Personally, I feel that this expansion is going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be so good. I mean, there's so many good things. I'm already excited for everything in this expansion. I'm trying to hold myself back because of the character modes, because I really want to see what my Evylyn looks like. I really want to see how the humans look like. Of course, I also want to see what the other races look like, especially Night Elves because my rogue, and even the Blood Elves because I want to see what my other warrior looks like, and obviously the Trolls because Trolls are pretty iconic at the moment, just for the simple fact that there's a new leader of the Horde, and I really want to see how that looks. So yeah guys, that was my thoughts on everything about Warlords of Draenor. So if you guys liked the video, please leave a like and maybe a subscribe, which would be pretty awesome. And you guys are the best. I love you guys. Anyways, this is Evio. I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.